So just talk a little bit about, again, another practice here and what you got accomplished today.
Yeah, we had a couple really physical practices the last couple of days. We backed off a little. We went thud today, but I liked how our guys didn't drop their mentality. Came out and competed. We worked some situational stuff. Finished practice with a red zone drill. We worked some third down. I just like the way our guys come out and attack every day with a blue-collar mentality. It's going to help us win.
Could you make an argument, Coach, that this is maybe your most important spring ball since you've been here, considering the amount of young guys and what you guys need to get figured out?
I think every single spring is our most important. It's the nature of it. Every year you got an opportunity to redefine your team. You know, the first spring you come in, you establish something. You lose seniors every year. You got to reestablish who are going to be those guys. We've got a very young team. We've got to find a quarterback. There's a lot of places that have opportunities for guys to go compete for position. That's what's great about spring is you give them that opportunity, and I think our guys are seizing those opportunities.
All right, here comes the obligatory quarterback question. I want to ask you kind of in this sense, from what you hope to get out of them, as far as their progress at the beginning of spring, and kind of compare that to where they are now, and are you pleased with the progress they're making?
Yeah, I really like where our guys are right now. We got a couple of guys in Kilton and Chasen that he really hadn't gone through and gotten coached up a lot in our scheme. Zach's been through the season and started a game, but those guys are catching up rapidly. I think Zach's made some progress. He feels a lot more comfortable now leading the team. He's doing a better job, handling things poise-wise, and those younger guys are very, very talented. Chasen in particular surprised us a little bit as far as how quickly he's picked things up. I like how Kilton's attacking our run game. They all have areas where they've got to grow, but I think all three are making great progress.
Coach, when you look back at the film from Monday scrimmage, what did you see?
Well, I think we've got guys that are starting to show up at different times. We've got some explosive players, probably more explosive players, both sides of the ball than we've had in a while. And to give them opportunities in live scrimmage action to go make plays really stood out to us. I liked how all three quarterbacks competed. I thought they were all very, very poised. Each of them did different things well. Obviously, there was things that they got to correct, but I like their progress. Both sides of the ball, we have some guys not going through drills right now, so you'd love to get some of those guys. But then there's guys like Martez where we know what he can do, and we don't want to risk any injury.
Aaron Mitchell was a guy you guys seemed to like a lot this freshman year. What's he showing to you getting first team?
He's growing up. I think he's earning that position to be a starter. He understands the offense so much better. He's getting lined up quicker. Just all those things get processed so much quicker after you've gone through a fall, and he's acting like a guy who should be a starter, and that's good to see.
Coach, can I ask you about Claudel Lewis? Kind of a late bloomer. It seems like when you heard about this kid at COS and the fact that he hadn't played much football, can you kind of give me the thought process of maybe did you think, hey, the ceiling could be big for him, and kind of what have you seen with him in the time he's been here? Absolutely.
We knew he was going to be raw, not having played a lot of football. Grew up in Haiti, which I guess they don't have a lot of football teams out there. But Coach Germano, again, our local recruiters out at COS practice and saw this mountain of a guy, had a lot of athletic ability, and we knew he was going to be a little bit of a project, but we knew he was a guy, just as you mentioned, with a lot of upside. And I think he's just starting to scratch the surface of what he can do. Last fall, he started, playing some, got more confident as it went along, and he's made strides this spring. He got dinged up, a couple practices ago. He's been out for a couple, but he should be back Friday.
And I heard, that he played soccer growing up too. Is he your emergency field goal kicker too?
Hopefully we don't get that desperate, but maybe we'll look at that if we have to go down that path. But no, it's an indication of how athletic this big guy is. We come out to practice. We have NFL scouts all the time out. And he's one of the guys that immediately they look at and say, "Hey, what's up with that guy?" I think he's made really good progress. We've got to continue to have him make more progress this fall. We anticipate him being a starter, so he's got to step up to that.